Hello there, good evening, and thanks for joining us on today's news bulletin. This is the evening news at 6, coming to you live from our studios at the John Evans 50th Mills High Street in Accra. We also streaming live on Facebook at Adoatv Ghana, on YouTube at Adoatv GH, and around the world at adoanewsonline.com. This is the weekend edition where we give to you trending issues that made headlines throughout the week in 30 minutes. The news is proudly sponsored by Asatec Roofing Sheet and Cookware, Verna Mineral Water, Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center, and Blue City Ties and Accessories. Now, in this bulletin, coming up in this bulletin, the second phase of the Accra Compost and Recycling Plant has been commissioned by the President. Following the demise of 2 police officers and some other 3 who are in critical conditions, IGP visits the Northern region. And in the world of business, a finance expert, Ken Thompson, has admonished the government to empower private sector workers. Thanks for staying with us. Remember, this is your hub of comprehensive and compendious news update. My name is Jonathan Amana. On to our very first story. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, has commissioned the second phase of the compost and recycling plant at Agyen Kotoku. The following report has more.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo commissioned the Phase 2 of the 20 million plant financed by Josbo Group and its partners to increase the existing facility from 600 tons of waste per day to 200 tons of waste per day. The project will provide metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies within the Greater Accra metropolitan area a viable and cost-effective alternative to dump sites. It will also increase the plant's capacity to bridge the existing gap of untreated solid waste within the Greater Accra Metropolitan Assembly. The project includes modern teaching and learning facilities as well as ultra-modern laboratories for training and research into modern effective processing and recycling technologies. President Akufo-Addo commissioned the project on the first day of his 3-day working tour of the Greater Accra region. He explained that the expansion has become necessary due to the increased urbanization in major cities.
The first phase of the Accra Compost and Recycling Plant has a 600 metric ton per day capacity to receive salt and produce high-quality organic compost for agricultural and agronomical activities, as well as other recyclable products such as plastics, paper, metal scraps for both domestic and international markets. As a result of increased urbanization, particularly in our major cities, the capacity of current plant cannot cope with the increased municipal solid waste generated daily within the city of Accra. It is for this reason the Jospon Group and partners with support from government embarked on expanding the existing facility from 600 tons per day to 2,000 tons per day. Phase 2 of the plant is well equipped with modern teaching and learning facilities, as well as ultra-modern laboratories for training and research into modern, effective processing and recycling technology. The completion of this facility will bring immense benefits to manage effectively and efficiently the increased solid waste in a more environmentally friendly and sustainable manner. Furthermore, the plant will create jobs, both direct and indirect. Before I conclude, let me stress the government will continue to create the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. Government will also continue to collaborate with the private sector in the provision of an infrastructure to accelerate the socio-economic development of the country. That is why my government is collaborating with Jospon Group of Company and partners to implement the integrated recycling and compost plants in all the 16 regions of the country.
He indicated that The disposal of solid waste has remained a challenge, especially in urban areas, creating the numerous sanitation challenges confronting the nation. The president added that in some countries, integrated waste management had been adopted as a critical intervention in the management of municipal solid waste.
Ladies and gentlemen, the disposal of solid waste management has remained a challenge, especially in the urban areas of this country, creating the numerous sanitation challenges confronting our nation. Elsewhere, integrated waste management has been adopted as one critical intervention in the management of municipal solid waste. However, the establishment of an efficient integrated waste management facility requires huge financial outlay, and with the competing needs of other sectors of the economy on the government budget, it has become increasingly difficult for government alone to shoulder this responsibility. It is for this reason that on assumption of office, my government made a commitment to address this menace, to transform Ghana to be one of the cleanest countries in Africa. In this regard, government has taken the requisite steps to create the enabling environment and framework for the private sector to partner government in finding solutions to this Herculean challenge. It is important also to note that as a result of the huge capital requirement to establish infrastructure for the management of solid waste, most private sector players have been reluctant to enter into this space. I'm glad and fortunate that Just One Group and partners have had the courage and spirit of enterprise to enter this space, to partner government, to assist us in addressing the sanitation situation.
The executive chairman of Jospong Group of Companies, Mr. Joseph Siawe Japan, disclosed that the project was made possible with the
So that was the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on the Ajin Kotoku recycling and compost plant that was commissioned in Ajin Kotoku. Now, away from that, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, has visited Tamale over the injury of 5 police officers who were involved in a fatal accident on the Walewale-Bolgatanga Road. Nuruddin Ibrahim, our Northern Regional Correspondent, has more in the following report.
Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, the Inspector General of Police, has visited Tamale over the death of 2 police officers and the injury of 3. The officers were involved in a fatal accident on the Walewale-Bolgatanga Road. 2 of the officers died at the Bolgatanga Government Hospital, while 3 are still in critical conditions and have since been airlifted to the nation's capital on the directive of the IGP. A short ceremony has been held at the Tamale airport for the 2 officers who died before their remains were airlifted to the nation's capital. Addressing journalists on behalf of the IGP after the ceremony, the Northern Regional Crime Officer of Police, Superintendent Baba Ananga, said the 5 officers were responding to a distress call last night when the sudden incident occurred. According to him, the IGP's visit has boosted their morale because personnel in the region were down over the accident. He said investigations are underway to interview the cause of the accident.
Earlier on, he facilitated the evacuation of 3 victims of this accident. They were flown to Accra somewhere around that is the afternoon, and later on facilitated the transportation of the mortal remains of our departed souls. 2 persons lost their lives in this unfortunate accident, and ceremony was held in honor of them. They are heroes within the service. They died fighting for Mother Ghana. They came here to assist the command of the Northeast as well as the Northern regions in fighting armed robbery And the unfortunate incident occurred when they had a distress call and were responding that this fatal accident happened. The Inspector General of Police, the IGP, deemed it fit to come in, and he arrived here this morning around 7:30 a.m. and had been on his feet up to this particular time. We have been encouraged by his support. We have been boosted in terms of our morale. We're down after the accidents that occurred. However, you can see that personnel are up and doing once more, and we are on our feet. We will not give up. We are rather resilient, as the Inspector General of Police encouraged us. Postmortem will be conducted, and then the report will be communicated to the next of kin before we then give it out to the general public. Survived. Um, as at yesterday, two of them remain critical. Doctors did their best, as well as the paramedics, and subsequently one gained his consciousness and also was evacuated.
The souls of these two police officers rest in the bosom of the Lord, and the other three who are in critical conditions, may they have a speedy recovery there. Now, away from the northern region, the Controllers and Accountant General's Department has repealed its decision not to pay public sector workers if they do not have a Ghana card. Government workers risk forfeiting their December 2021 salaries per an initial directive by the Controllers and Accountant General's Department. The move was said to be part of government's plan to provide a secured and verified payroll services to government workers.
The Controller and Accountant General's Department has repealed its decision not to pay public sector workers if they do not have a Ghana card. Government workers risked forfeiting their December 2021 salaries per an initial directive from the Controller and Accountant General's Department. The move was said to be part of the Government of Ghana's efforts to deliver a speedy, secured and verified payroll service to government employees and pensioners while reducing the risk of undeserving payment or claims. But the government, through consultations with the Ministries of Employment and Labour Relations, Finance and the Accountant General, have backtracked over concerns raised by labour unions. A communique issued after a joint meeting on Tuesday, October 19, 2021, the two ministries have asked the CAGD to port the names of public sector workers in their existing databases on the NIA platform and thereafter inform the various institutions of any unregistered staff that may exist. With this latest intervention, the December ultimatum given to workers on the government payroll to acquire Ghana cards before receiving their pay is no longer going to take effect. However, state institutions have been advised to encourage their staff members to register with the National Identification Authority to secure the Ghana card as soon as possible. There have been agitations by a section of government workers and unions since the department issued a directive on Tuesday, October 12, 2021, with some asking the Controller and Accountant General to reconsider the directive and withdraw it completely or have the deadline extended. According to organized labor, the NIA should bear the responsibility of capturing government workers on its database and not compel them to secure the cards. They insisted that the decision is a lazy approach towards addressing lapses in the government's payroll system. The National Identification Authority, however, justified the directive, saying it is a step in the right direction. Earlier, the CAGD said it will not withdraw its directive.
Now, away from that, let's move over to some LGBTQI plus issues that are popping up in the country. Four suspected gays in the grips of the Tamale police after escaping mob attack by resident in the metropolis. By virtue of tradition, the four suspects have been slapped with an 11,000 Ghana cedis fine and a sheep of purging the land of an abomination. Our Northern Regional correspondent has more.
4 young men have been detained by the Tamale police after they narrowly escaped mob attack by some residents. According to reports, the 4 suspects are believed to be gay, as some people overheard 2 of them arguing over their love affair on the streets of Agri Forest, a suburb of Tamale. Some residents, after realizing the misunderstanding between the 2, accosted them to the Shegu Nurse Palace. The 2, after interrogation, mentioned the names of the other 2. The 4 of them have been charged with an 11,000 Ghana cedis fine and a sheep for the purposes of purifying the land before they were handed over to the Tamale police for further investigations. The chief of Chogo, Na Maham Al-Hassan, speaking directly to the suspect at his palace, said, "The act has angered the gods of Tamale, and he prays the Lord deals with them decisively." Yakubu Haruna, speaking on behalf of Choguna, said the chiefs in the country can stop the canker if the state authority can involve them in the fight. According to him, the chiefs of the north can enforce laws to curb the canker if the law will allow.
I can't say much, but I would have said it won't help us in any way if the parliament could at least, if not anything, vote against it, not in favor of it. It would have helped the country. Islamically, it won't take us anywhere. It is rather going to bring more calamities to us. Our imams have been saying that it is some small aspect of God's punishment that he gave to us in the world. And we are saying cover your mouth, wash your hands. I am telling you what happened to Prophet Noah, his regime. If it is to befall on us today, I don't think we all like it. Then if my chief would have had his own way within our jurisdiction, we could have prevented. But as I keep saying, we are in the state of law. But if the lawmakers in Ghana could resist it, it would have helped us. We at our various levels would have enforced to see how best, if not stop it, but at least bring it to the lowest as it is growing in the country. At least we will have do our possible to see. I'm not alone. I work in hand with a lot of youth chiefs around. I can't have an issue without inviting the Zaki into the system. I can't have an issue without inviting Zagban.
From some issues regarding LGBTQI plus to some development in crime and security, about 344 motorbikes have been impounded in the northern regional capital Tamale. The operation was jointly executed by the Regional Police Command and personnel from the Driving and Vehicle Licensing Authority (DVLA) in the Tamale metropolis. The following report has more.
The Northern Regional Police Command, in sync with the Regional Driving and Vehicle License Authority (DVLA), in a bid to cut down motorbike-related crimes in the metropolis, have impounded 340 motorbikes. Addressing journalists on the operations, COP Thimotiosa said the police conducted the operation to save riders' lives and further curb armed robbery-related cases in the region. He said most of the armed robbery recorded cases recently have been associated with motorbike riders. According to him, out of the 344 arrested persons, 285 bikes were not registered, with 59 riders not wearing crash helmets.
And as we have gathered this, we have arrested this motorbike, it is also a point for us to screen them, because they could be, some of them could be stolen motorbikes. So as we do all these things, we are also screening to get those who are stolen the rest. So it's a time of grace. Come, pay the registration. DVLA will establish their table here to register you, register the motorbike for you. After registration, when it is done, the police will release the motorbike for you. At least from now up to, let's say, by Friday. But the subsequent ones, when we do it, when we arrest you, we will want to prosecute you. Because we have done enough sensitization that people by now should have gone to register their motorbikes and vehicles. Done enough sensitization.
COPO Zabonga, however, indicated that those arrested will not be arraigned before court, but will, however, be compelled to get the motorbikes registered in accordance to the law.
Few days, the motorbikes or vehicles that will arrest and register, we will not prosecute them, we will not send them to court. What we will do is that you should come with your documents, come here, see the DVLA to register your motorbike or your vehicle for you before you take it. When it is done, we will release the motorbike for you. By the subsequent ones, maybe after 3 days or 4 days, when you are arrested, then it will be time for you to be prosecuted. So this one, let's say for today up to Friday, the exercises that we will do, we will grant them that grace period, that moratorium, that the DVLA will register them before they are released. If you don't come with your documents for DVLA to register them for you, we will not release them for you. Then it means that you will want to be prosecuted.
Thanks for staying with us. This is still there. Evening News live from our studios at the John Evans Fifiate Mills High Street in Accra. We go for a quick break. When we come back, business comes up shortly. Welcome back from that quick breather. And now let's look at some happenings in the world of business. The Chief Executive Officer of Delex Finance, Mr. Kenneth Thompson, says government must empower the private sector to fund economic development. He continued by saying government should not increase taxes but widen the tax debt.
We are broke. I mean, I've been saying for the last 5 years, we are broke. If you're spending more than 90% of your income on 2 line items, you are broke. You are broke. Let's say fiscal space, you're broke. I mean, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's all what's on the bridge. Debt is debt. You've got to pay for it. Fine. I don't want to get into the discussion as to whether or not how it came about, why it's accumulated. It doesn't matter. But going forward, let's empower the private sector to fund economic development. And the only way the private sector will get involved is if we know the people we are lending to. Ghanaians are not thieves. We are not different from people in Canada. My young man is from Canada. But any economist will tell you that to change behavior, you must provide incentives. And there's no incentive for people to pay back the money they borrowed. So nobody will lend. How simple is that? Guys, let's be real. How simple is that? The government hasn't got capacity to borrow. When they say fiscal policy, it's taxation and spending. It's already tight. You're going to increase taxes? You can't do that. You're going to probably widen the tax net. You spend, you don't have money to spend. It's the private sector that can spend. If we had systems that provided an incentive for people to lend, this young man here will give me $20 million tomorrow.
How does
it's as simple as that.
How does,
this is not.
How does government do that? We see the current government doing one district, one fund.
Forget
supporting.
It's okay. It's okay. All you're not listening. You're not listening. What I'm saying is that. Thank you. Make the digitization process, quicken the pace. The Ghana card, link it to SNIT, link it to bank accounts, link it to land registry, link it to birth and deaths. What else? Link it to GRA. Give me access. I will pay. Let me know the person who I'm dealing with. Let me know whether he's credible enough to give to. If he doesn't pay me, if I put it online, I shut the person down. So for whatever you want, you've got to fight for it. So it's part of a process. We've got to keep talking. We've got to keep pushing. And who's the government? We are the government. Whoever rules us, we put them there. So we've got to keep pushing, keep engaging. That's when you have change. But to say that I talked, they didn't listen to me, really, it doesn't happen. Just because you're right, just because Ken Thompson is right, doesn't mean people listen to me. I've got to engage. I've got to convince. I've got to talk to people. I've got to form a coalition. I've got to think of how I'm going to start and how I'm going to build that coalition. I've got to know that as I'm speaking now, I have a clear picture in mind what I expect to happen. But it's not a smooth road. It'll be like this and it's like that, and that's the way life works. So keep talking. When you start getting tired of saying something, that's when people begin to listen. Don't stop talking.
So that was Mr. Ken Thompson saying that government should widen the tax net instead of increasing taxes. There is more news on our website on adoanewsonline.com/business. Now, in the world of sport, the ambassador of Spain to Ghana, His Excellency Javier Gutierrez, has paid a courtesy call on the Minister of Youth and Sport, Honorable Mustafa Yusuf, to discuss issues of mutual benefit to their respective countries. The mission of his visit is to enter partnership agreement with the Ministry for the Development of the Sport industry in the country.
The Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Mustafa Yusuf, has warmly welcomed the Ambassador of Spain to Ghana, His Excellency Javier Gutierrez, to his office, and noted that the visit was an important one since there are several areas of collaboration and the two countries could discuss, which will in turn bring opportunities to the youth of both countries. He noted that there's a huge gap between population growth and economic growth in Ghana, resulting in youth unemployment. According to the minister, the focus of government is in the area of agribusiness and the provision of the 21st century digital skills to the youth of the country to make them independent and skilled to engage in their own businesses. He indicated that since Spain is noted for excellence as far as football is concerned, it would be necessary to collaborate in the areas of exchange programs for Premier League coaches, match commissioners, referees, among others. Honorable Yusuf underscored the need to revive the Winneba Sports College by entering into a partnership agreement with interested partners and therefore called on the ambassadors to collaborate with the ministry in that direction. The ambassador on his part noted that different Spanish institutions were interested in having scholarship and training programs to build the capacities of the youth. He called for more participation and involvement of the youth and closer relationship between the two countries.
We just hope that that mutual relationship between the ambassador of Spain to Ghana and the football ministry would go a long way to developing the football sector in the country. On that very note, this is how we end the evening news right from our studios at the John Evans Fifiatemos High Street in Accra. But before that, a quick look at our headlines. The second phase of the Accra Compost and Recycling Plant has been commissioned. Following the demise of 2 police officers and some other 3 who are in critical condition, IGP visits the northern region. And in the world of business, we gave you a finance expert, Ken Thompson, has admonished the government to empower the private sector. For more news, do well to log on to our website on adoanewsonline.com. The news was proudly sponsored by Acetec Roofing Sheet and Cookware, Verna Natural Mineral Water, Sonotech Medical and Diagnostic Center, Blue City Ties and Accessories. Before that, a big and a welcome and congratulations to my very colleague here at Adoatv, Anastasia Badu, on tying the knot. We just hope that she enters into a successful marriage and comes out successfully. On that very note, that's how we end. My name is Jonathan Amma. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of our programs.